Hello, colleagues. I wanted to give you an update on how to grade the extended response quiz questions so that students are able to view our feedback and that it's consistent and that it's in a consistent place. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how I graded two quizzes, the chapter introduction quiz and the chapter 1 quiz. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like from the student end. So let's start with the chapter introduction quiz. Let's pretend for a moment this wasn't graded and then that you have the yellow circle with the exclamation point in there. I'm going to open it up as if I haven't graded it. So I'm scrolling down to look to see if they missed a lot of answers or if they got most of them right. Then I'm not really spending a lot of time there, but I'm scrolling down to the essay question, the final question, which we know is just to get them to ask a question about college so that we can connect with them in a way, right? So we're giving them 10 points to ask us a question. So I've already graded it and I've already given my feedback, but the first step for me is to go to the rubric and to use that rubric. And so I thought that this person's question was outstanding. This is a very thoughtful question. Great job. And I gave this person an excellent because I felt like they were writing at the college level and there were very little grammar errors, so on and so forth. And just a motivational note, you killed it on this assignment. And so I'm saving that, and that's automatically populating my points here. So the response feedback is for the question here, the response to the question 11. So anything that you put in this box is responding to this question. And so this is how I responded to the student's question. Again, she's asking, does it matter if I go to community college versus doing 4 years at a university? So again, here's my response, and I offered a video on the topic. So the way I did the video was this, and you don't have to put a video in here. You could drop a link if you had an interesting article that you wanted them to read, or neither. It's just whatever you prefer. But to do the YouTube video, we're pretty limited here with our choices here. But the YouTube, and then if you just type in the name of the YouTube video, and it'll pull up, select it, and boom, there it will appear. So the feedback and notes for the attempt is for the overall quiz. So I just told the student they obviously did an awesome job. I want to keep this as an example if they don't mind. So the grading notes are for the instructor only, so I leave those alone. So once I hit submit, then the student is able to access the grade. So let's go and look at that from the student end. So go to my grades, and that's the chapter introduction quiz here. So when the student looks at their quiz grade, the first thing they'll probably do is view feedback. So this is an overall response to their question as well as how they did to the quiz. So I'm going to, my next example will show you what happens if they miss the mark and how I give them a sample assignment. So there's just the general feedback, but they need to go deeper than this. They need to click on the chapter introduction quiz link here. Here's the points, here's what they got, and then they need to click on the calculated grade. So again, here's the comments again, their answers, and this is what it looks like. So this is question 11 for them, my response to them. So they're able to get that here. They should look at the rubric. So if they hit the view rubric button, they'll know here's my feedback. This is a very thoughtful question. Great job. Your writing style is very collegiate, and you killed it. So they'll have to click on here to see that, and then here's the answer to their question. Okay, so what happens if they miss the mark? Let's say you have a student who didn't do so well. So let's look at what that looks like here. And so here's a student who got a 14 out of 40 on the quiz. This is the same student, different quiz. So the chapter 1 quiz. So let's look at the bubble here. So the bubble here says, you missed a lot of questions overall. Make sure you take your time and use all the resources we provided to help you out, and so on and so forth. But here's the sample assignment question that I'm giving the students so that they have what to look for in their next one, right? So right away they're getting that feedback. Whoa, you missed the mark, and here's a sample. But again, if they don't go any farther than that, then they're not getting the full feedback. So they need to click on the chapter 1 quiz, the calculated grade, and here it pops up again. This is the overall assessment of the entire quiz, including a sample if you want. And so here's the feedback again. This question, the student didn't ask a very good question. Their question was pretty simple, and so I let them know that. They basically just said, well, I didn't really have a question because I've got 3 years college experience. And so my reply was, well, that's fine, but you still need to ask a question. I didn't, the student wrote in a collegiate style without any grammar error, so I gave them a 4 out of 5 on that. I didn't give them a 5 because I thought that the response should exceed expectations, and it did not. So, and the general feedback is make sure you read my comments carefully. So here's a student again who missed the mark. They got a 5 out of 10. They viewed the rubric and they read the response feedback. So what that would look like on our end if you were to grade that quiz assignment, and again, you're noticing they're missing all these answers. So again, here's his response. I don't have any questions, and so we know that that's not adequate. So in order to assess that, we go to the rubric. I typed in that information or the response, and then make sure you read my comments and letting them know that I'll be sharing a sample. So here again, my response to his question, my feedback, overall feedback, and then here's the sample. Now, in this feedback box is pretty easy to drop the sample. So you want to, if you get good sample assignments from your students, you want to save some so that you can provide them to other students. And so the way I did that here was I typed out my response, I hit the plus sign, and then insert local files. And then I just left this out here for convenience, but the sample question, double click that, and then there it is again. So then once I hit submit, then it goes to the student, and the student is able to see this information here. So just one more time what that looks like. So they go here to calculated grade. Here's the general comments about the quiz, including a sample. And at the end, here is my response. And then the feedback to that response. That's all. I hope this helps.